Greetings, short people. The book we're reading today is called I Am Dodo.
Not a true story.
And this is I've never read this one, so it might go off in some weird tangent, talking about growing trees out of your nose or something. I don't know. But the bird, the dodo, is now extinct. And to be extinct means there aren't any more left. It's like, well, it's like what I just said. There just aren't any more left. They're all dead. So it's just kind of nice that somebody's remembering the dodo, because they were big. They had huge beaks. They were kind of, they didn't really look a whole lot like that picture. I would show you one. I would show you a picture, but I should have thought of that before. So how about we just read the book? Everybody say, "Come on, Mr. Taylor, read the book." Or, wait. You have to say it like a black man. All right? "Come on, Mr. Taylor, read the book." All right, that's close enough. I am Dodo. Not a true story. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was an island where dodo birds lived. The dodo birds were so slow and foolish that they were easily caught. Finally, there were no dodo birds left on the island, and people believed that they were extinct. I just use that word. Extinct. It doesn't mean they smell. Only one person disagreed. He was a professor who had studied dodo birds for more than 70 years. 70 years, that's longer than I've been alive. And he was sure that there was at least one dodo bird that had survived. He was sure. People laughed at the professor. Nobody listened to him except his dog Spotty. Every day when the professor took Spotty to the park, he would say over and over, "There are still dodos. I just know it." Good Spotty. One day, someone else was listening. It was Dodo. Dodo. Dodo, 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 Dodo. Dodo. This Dodo was quicker and smarter than the others. He had escaped from the island and traveled all over the world. At last he came to another island, New York City. New York City?
New York City was a great place for a dodo to live. There was a lot of food available. People were busy minding their own business. If they saw him, they said, "Oh, that looks like a dodo." But dodos don't exist. Perhaps Mr. Taylor is incorrect about his assessment of whether or not the dodo is still living. We shall find out. The city was lively 24 hours a day, so he could dance the dodo dance whenever he wanted to.
Everybody do the dodo.
I think that's how they sing. I think that's one of their traditional songs. Everybody do the dodo. Yeah, that's snazzy. Dodo spent a lot of time in the park, which reminded him of his first home. One day, he heard somebody say, Is that Dodo?" Is that Dodo? "I have finally found the dodo," cried the professor. "I'll catch him and show him to everyone. Now people will believe me." But Dodo didn't want to be caught and put in a cage. I mean, really, who would want to be caught and put in a cage? Dodo was smart. He was much smarter than most dodos. And they have already said as much. Every day, the professor tried a new way to catch Dodo. He built traps, he hid behind trees with nets, and even planted a decoy. But Dodo wasn't fooled. Ain't no way. Dodo would see those traps, he'd go,
"Man, I know what he's doing there. I ain't falling for that. What's wrong with him?"
That's just what he sounded like. That's how dodos talk, I think. Then one morning, Dodo didn't see the professor anymore. Dodo didn't see the professor anywhere. At last, he thought, a fine, quiet day. He wandered around the city and nobody noticed him at all. It was quiet and boring. Dodo almost wished Professor was following him. Almost. Poor boy Dodo. Dodo found himself once again at the park entrance. There was the professor. He had been watching for Dodo all day, all night, and fallen asleep on the bench, with Spotty by his side. Row! Row! Dodo was so happy to see Professor that he started to dance.
Oh, hubba, 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 hubba. Do the dodo dance. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Well, hubba, 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 hubba.
I could be wrong, but I think that's what a dodo would sing. Professor opened his eyes. I must be dreaming, he told himself. He hadn't known about the Dodo dance. It was such a funny, happy dance that he felt like dancing himself. He gave up all his thoughts of catching Dodo and telling the world about him. He couldn't dance in a cage, now could he? Professor said to Spotty. Yo, Spotty, you see that Dodo over there? He can't dance in no cage. He can't do that. There wouldn't be enough room. It would just be mean. I agree. From then on, Professor came to the park every day. Sometimes Dodo would hide, and the professor and Spotty would look for him till they found him. And then they would hide, and Dodo would find them. It was a fine game. It was wonderful in its wonderfulness. And sometimes they would dance together.
Everybody do the Dodo. Well, that's the story. The story of a dodo. Not a true story, but a story nonetheless. One read to you by Mr. Taylor. Hi, kids. I'm Mr. Taylor, and I have just read a book to you. Mr. Taylor's in a goofy mood. Thank you very much, and thank you for letting me read to you.